It's the early hours, so I try not to keep my voice too loud. Um, I want to discuss a little bit the issue of ethnocentric people. Essentially, I'm talking about racist people, but I use the term ethnocentric in the sense that this is where their racism comes from. It's a belief that their race is, whatever it is superior to others, and their entire world outlook is based on tribalism, ethnic groups against one another. You can almost see what goes on in these people's brains, that their entire mindset is focused in a certain way. I find it very nauseating and really tiresome, because how can you get through to these people when they turn everything into a race issue? Race baiter might be another word. They're just people who are obsessed by race. If I take an issue with someone, it's with that person. I've had arguments with people from many national backgrounds, black people, white people, Asian people, and I've had some heated arguments with those people. Now, at any point I could have taken the logic, well, it would have been illogical. That person's pissed me off for whatever reason. I'm going to hate their entire nationality or their entire ethnic group. Some people really do take this sort of mindset, or they take something that's happened to them from the hands of another ethnic group, and they then decide to demonize that whole ethnic group because they've had a bad experience with some people. The context in which I'm making this is a girl I came across. I won't bother naming her because I think there's no point, but basically she come out on a video about mixed relations and said that she feels that Asian women who date white men are a downgrade to Asians on the grounds that they don't date Asian men. Well, the insinuation here was clear. She believes that she's an Asian supremacist. She believes that Chinese women who are with white men are downgrading themselves. And there's a few points I'd like to make. I think I made a video about mixed dating before, but this comes into it. First, it's none of her damn business who other Chinese women date. Whatever their motivations are, that's between them and the men they date. If they have the wrong intentions or whatever, that's not good, but that's still none of her business. And this is the thing about racists. Quite often they're control freaks as well, because they're not content with just having their own views. They actually want to impose that on others by saying like people should and shouldn't date someone else. It's not like anyone's forcing her to date white guys, or I'm just using that as an example. There's many others. Bernard Hopkins, I may have quoted this before, the boxer. He's a great fighter, but he has an attitude that in my opinion is absolutely disgraceful for a professional athlete in this day and age. When he said that he would never lose to a white boy in his bout with Joe Calzaghe, that was proved wrong anyway. He lost. But he didn't lose because he was a black man. He lost because Calzaghe was the better fighter on that night. And Calzaghe did not win because he was a white man. He won because he was the better fighter. So for Hopkins to use this sort of rhetoric, I've no respect for him as a person. As a fighter, yeah, he's a good fighter. But as a person, that sort of language has no place in the sport of boxing, or any sport. So that's just an example of it being used in the public domain. And you do occasionally see this where people come out with, certain celebrities come out with these sort of ethnocentric statements, and I've seen them from white people, black people, and Asian people, Hispanic people. I'm not just saying that to be politically correct. I've seen it from all ethnic groups, from individuals in all ethnic groups, and they all have one thing in common: they're all equally pathetic. Now I can understand if you've had a very difficult experience. Say you're the only family of a particular ethnicity, and you live in a predominantly another neighbourhood with another ethnicity, let's say, and you've been subject to harassment or racist abuse and so on. I can understand resentment, and I can understand the lack of trust, but you need to be brave enough to look beyond that and to try and see that it's not the issue. I've had personal experiences in my life where I've had problems with other nationalities or groups, and I could have chosen that approach, but I didn't. I'll try and make some examples. I worked in an Italian restaurant. I got exploited. I wasn't paid properly. Now, am I going to turn around and say all Italians are corrupt and don't, that sort of? Of course not. I happened to go to Italy that week actually on a short holiday, and had a pretty good time overall. Likewise, I got shortchanged by a lot of people in China. It is a problem in Chinese society, but am I going to turn around and say every single Chinese person is dishonest? Of course not. This isn't about being politically correct, it's just about common sense. And what applies to nationalities, and that we can't generalise nationalities, also applies to ethnic groups. It's true there's trends, and what I'm talking here is not about saying, for example, there are certain trends within certain groups. Sometimes that is just a fact. However, if you have a mindset where you are judging people solely on their skin pigmentation, always, that's very sad. And I used to have contempt for these people, but now I sort of feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them because it must be lonely deliberately marginalising yourself to only correspond with your own ethnic group. I think it's sometimes it's just by accident, you're not in association with other people, and that's fine. That's not racist. That's just reality. But when people deliberately don't associate with other groups, or genuinely believe that their ethnic group has higher intelligence or whatever, I think I feel sorry for those people. I really do. Because they don't realise how beautiful the world is when you look at it in an open-minded way. I mean, how potentially beautiful it can be. I'm so grateful I have friends from all backgrounds, and I'm not just saying that to I've argued with people from all backgrounds as well, but the point I'm making is, for me, the only thing that matters in terms of communication with people is their deeds and their personality. I can genuinely say that their nationality and their ethnicity has nothing to do with it. Religion could be a different matter, because there can sometimes be issues with that, but ethnicity you're not born with. Nationality, unless your country changes through political circumstances, you've no choice in. Well, no, I don't mean to word it like that. You do have a choice, but you're not born with a choice in that. You do have a choice in the sense you can apply for citizenship of another country. But I think you know the point I'm making here, which is that it's just a very sad mentality. So this girl, it pissed me off at first reading what she came out with, but then I sort of feel sorry for her as well. Something must have happened to give her this bitter mindset, and to look down on white guys or other Asian women. I feel sorry for her, actually. She probably thinks she's enlightened, but she just comes across as a narrow-minded bigot, and that's it. If you agree with me, please respond to this video. If you disagree, I'd like to know why. I can't see any logical reason for disagreeing. But if you do believe that racism is justified, if ethno-centrism is justified, I'd like to see your pathetic rationale for that. And I do take a hostile, confrontational approach, because it's something that's just, you can't rationalise, really. Like I say, if you've had bad experience with a particular group, I'm not saying you have to love them, but at least don't tar them all with the same brush. I'm not saying go out there and be Gandhi-esque and make peace with everyone. I'm just saying, be open-minded enough to at least realise that not everyone's like that. Whatever stereotype you can find with any nationality, you can probably say that it's absolutely not the norm for that entire nationality. Same applies to ethnic groups. So, yeah. Thanks for watching.